What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Brandon's Face, the podcast about a playlist. My name is Jonathan Beardsley. As always, I'm joined by the one and only Brandon May. Brandon, how you doing tonight?
I am so good, John. How are you?
Yeah, I'm enjoying this hot August night as much as you are, buddy. Before we get into this week's albums, which include the Megan Thee Stallion album, which was kind of a surprise drop, as well as a whole bunch of other fun music I'm excited to talk about. If this is your first time listening to us, make sure to like, follow, subscribe. You can follow along with the playlist on Spotify, which you'll find in our show notes for the link. You can follow us on Instagram, Reddit. You can also find us on our own website, and you can find the podcast itself on all major podcasting platforms. I think that is all we have to get to first. Am I correct?
That's all the
All
housekeeping.
right, man. Let's talk about some fucking music, because that's why we're here.
Let's do it.
First up, we got a new one from Infected Mushroom and Nina Tayeb called Black Velvet. It's actually a cover. I forget who does the original of this. Do you know?
No, it's been covered, I think, like 1,000,000 times.
Yeah, I feel like whatever version I probably know is also a cover.
Exactly.
Yeah. I like this, man. It's great, and it's further proof that I do not hate all covers.
Yeah, man. I did not have Infected Mushroom covering Black Velvet on my 2022 bingo card. Wasn't a space.
You should
there.
have.
I don't know, man.
Last time I saw them live, they covered The Pretender by Foo Fighters, and I think they ended up putting that cover on an album. We'll see what this happens with. Yeah, that was fucking phenomenal, dude. My wife and I were just like, holy shit. Like, we were both just jaws on the floor.
I'm sure.
Last week I said all pop songs sound better as pop punk songs. Do all rock songs sound better as Infected Mushroom songs?
I don't know, man, but what I do know is Infected Mushroom has still got it.
Yeah, they never lost it, man. All right, next up, we got a new one from Lane 8 and Elderbrook called Grapevine. I imagine you are absolutely in love with this, my man, are you not?
Dude, he just has such a way with beautiful melodic house music, man. It's just gorgeous. This song is gorgeous.
Songs like this are what made me a fan of Lane 8 in the first place.
Yeah, it's just good, man. Like, it's just good.
It's really good. Great track. Next up, we got a new one from Paul Van Dyke and Funica called Artefact. What are your thoughts on this one?
So we have an album announcement. The Record is what it's called. Paul's 11th studio album will be releasing. I'm not sure if they've released a date, but he announced the album. These are some dark chord progressions. There's some really cool synth-led build-ups, man. The just layers upon layers of bass lines. This is fucking great, man. What did you think about it?
Another great PVD track, man. Really good. Bit heavier than the last one, so I'm glad that there's an official album announcement because I'm excited to hear how all of this comes together.
Yeah, me too. We'll see.
All right. Next up, we got a new one from, I want to say I'm pronouncing it right, Raito. It's got to be one of those.
I think it's Raito.
This one is called Blood Rave. You keep trying every week to get me into this guy. This track feels like a throwback in a lot of ways, which is cool. It's very heavy, though. Still a little too heavy for my enjoyment, but this is definitely balls to the wall chaos. So I appreciate it for that. What did you think?
Honestly, I wasn't going to add it. I listened to it and I was like, John's not going to like this, but I actually added it because of the name Blood Rave, and it just always reminds me of that iconic scene in Blade. Where they just dump blood on all the ravers.
Incredible.
And I actually think that it would fit, like this song would fit in that scene. So I just kind of wanted to shout out to Blade real quick.
If any of our listeners have any FMV skills, please put this song over that scene. Yes, dude, please add a song every time it makes you think of a Blade movie.
Yeah, that's kind of exactly right. Like I had to do it.
Even if it's Blade 3. All right, let's talk about this new remix, this new Adriatique remix of Moth to a Flame, Swedish House Mafia, and The Weeknd. What did you think of this?
I don't think we needed it, but I'm not going to sit here and hate on it. It's good. It's just unneeded, unnecessary, you know?
Yeah, I like some aspects of the remix. It's okay.
Agreed.
All right, next up we got a new one from Elohim and Nitty Gripit called Float Away. I'm not a giant fan of the production on this track. Her voice sounds good, but it's not one I'll be coming back to. How did you feel about it?
I actually really liked this song, man.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I think that this is kind of more towards the Elohim that I really enjoy. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll revisit it. Maybe I'll hear what you're saying, but I liked this one.
If you like it, don't let my stupid words distract you, Brandon.
You know, your words are pretty stupid.
They can be. They can be extremely stupid. I'm surprised nobody's called me out on it yet.
Publicly, at the very least.
Yeah, publicly. Or in a place that I've seen. All right, next up, we've got this new one from Falcon with BENEE called Light. It's a BENEE feature, so of course we're going to fucking add it to the playlist. Are you kidding me? She has done a ton of features this year. They've all been great. I really like the strings on this track. Big surprise. What did you think of it, man?
I thought it was okay. Like you said, I like the strings, but that was about it. That's where I think BENEE thrives on her own production. I think that when she's a feature, it's not as I don't like it as much as I like her original music.
I will agree with that, with the exception of that track we reviewed earlier this year. That was a fucking banger.
That was a good one.
Yeah, we never reviewed that album, but that track was great. All right. Next up, we got a new one from Rex Orange County called Threat. A lot going on in this song. Very interested to hear your thoughts on it.
I really enjoyed it, actually. Pretty sure that, yeah,
okay.
I did enjoy it. I'm pretty sure the album cover was taken somewhere near Palm Springs, judging by the mountains. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's not anything that I think I'm going to be coming back to. Are we going to get like a deluxe edition of Who Cares or something? Because it feels like this does feel like a throwaway Rex Orange County song, but I didn't hate it.
Yeah, I don't know if we're getting a deluxe edition. I would guess that, but he could also just be dropping a random Lucy. It's kind of a weird one. I really like the falsetto part. I'm not really feeling the whole see it, believe it, achieve it rhyme scheme thing, but it's a solid track. I don't really know how I feel about it, but I definitely don't hate it.
Yeah.
All right, man. Next up, let's move into the rap realm of things briefly. We got a new 2-pack from Cordae called Unacceptable, and so with that, I want to like these tracks more than I do. How are you feeling?
Same, bro. These are okay. I've heard Cordae do better than both of these.
Yeah, I respect him for getting back to work so soon after dropping a kind of underwhelming sophomore album earlier this year, and I appreciate the honesty in the lyrics, but I'm not really feeling these.
Same, man. Like I said, I mean, I've just heard him do better, and I want to see him. I want to see him blow up, you know?
Yep. I think he needs something to rap about. Like, he can go into personal stuff, but it doesn't seem like he has much to rap about. I think that's the problem right now.
Yeah.
We'll see, though.
If your personal stuff is not much, you don't have much to rap about. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way it is. He already said online more new music coming soon, so we'll see where it goes.
We'll see.
All right, man. Next up, we got a new one from Jid called Dance Now with Kenny Mason. Holy fucking shit, man. I lost it. I fucking lost it. Like, I can't even comprehend this one. This one is so fucking good. How are you feeling about it?
This man can just wrap circles around fucking everybody right now.
Everybody.
He's just so good. This track is obviously no exception. I'm glad that he announced the album. He also announced a bunch of features, and upon which I think we've got like 21 Savage and I think a Lil Pump feature, maybe a little Uzi Vert. I kind of can't differentiate.
Uzi Vert sounds much more in line with Jid. Yeah, the 21 Savage one will probably be surround sound, which we already heard.
Yeah. Fucking great, man. There's really not much else to say. He blows me away with almost every one of his verses, and this is really no exception. And I want to say that he books features like just so he can wrap circles around them. Like, it almost feels rude to have
really
features
like
on a Jid
Kenny's
album.
Rapping on this song, you know? No. Are you talking about the album in general?
Yeah,
this song doesn't feel necessarily like anybody's rapping against him.
No.
Dude, the fucking accent rap over the horns in the second verse should not work, but he pulls it off. It's bizarre. It's the first man since Eminem in my band to even attempt something like that.
Yeah, man, he just gets it, dude. He gets it.
Yes, the Forever story is confirmed, and I think most outlets are saying it's going to be released August 26th, so week after next. We'll keep an eye out, though.
Yeah, I just read a TMZ article about how he almost signed to TDE and another Atlanta-based record label before he decided on Dreamville. And it's kind of weird to think about what the trajectory of his career would look like without the backing of Dreamville. So interesting.
It would. I know he's always wanted to do a song with Kendrick, which still hasn't come to fruition. He was trying to get him on Off D's on his last record, but J. Cole ended up doing it. But yeah, it's hopefully that comes to fruition soon. But regardless, man, I'm looking forward to this album so much. I cannot wait to hear it.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too.
All right, man. Let's go into the R&B realm of things because this might be the best 3-song R&B run we've had in a while.
I think so too, man.
First up, we got Ari Lennox with Hoodie. Everything I love about her music. This is excellent. Her new album, Age, Sex, Location, drops September 9th. How are you feeling about this?
This was great, man. In fact, Ari is going to be a feature on that shit album.
Of course.
Just showing off her range, as is tradition for Ari Lennox.
Yeah, this one's great. Love it. Great track. Next up, we got another one of these Babyface collaborations. This one with Kehlani called Seamless. And I'm enjoying these a lot more than I thought I would. Kehlani absolutely kills this. But the production is good too. His new album is called Girls Night Out. I'm guessing it's going to be collabs with all female R&B singers. I'm hoping. That sounds awesome. That comes out October 28th. We'll probably throw that on the reviews. How are you feeling about this?
Yeah, man, those harmonies towards the back end of this song are great, and you don't really hear him come in for quite a bit. I think it's almost like 2.5 minutes until we start hearing Babyface's voice. I think. I actually looked into Babyface a little bit because I've heard the name for a long time, and I even asked you one of the last times we covered one of his songs, like where should I start? And Babyface apparently is a prolific producer, and he has production credits on this song as well as probably the entire album at this point. And yeah, I'm excited to cover it, man.
Yeah, I think he's going to be mostly producing the album with some vocal credits here and there, but I think he'll be taking a back seat. But his little vocal runs in this weren't bad.
No, not at all.
Next up, we got a new one from Jenevieve called Love Quotes. She is one of my absolute favorite up-and-coming R&B singers, and I hope you can see why with this song because it's fucking great. Her voice is perfect. Love it. You like this one?
Yeah, super liked it. I don't think I liked the last one, but I liked this one.
Yeah, this one is fantastic. She really delivered on it. I have no idea where she's going next, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, we'll see, man, because this was very good, right up my alley for R&B. You're turning me into an R&B lover, liker, something like that.
It's a quality over quantity thing, man.
I dig it.
We're also getting some, much more grounded, less male toxic R&B right now. So
if I get caught. You know, it's funny. We when my wife and I sat down and watched the Usher NPR Tiny Desk, we were like, "Are all of his songs about cheating?" Like,
well, the Confessions album is about cheating.
Well, yes, but
My Way and Nice and Slow are not about cheating. No.
Okay. All of the songs we listened to on that NPR Tiny Desk were very much associated with that. I think he played a couple of songs off of My Way, but.
He did. He played a couple off My Way. I don't think he really played any 8701, but that is a perfect set. I love that. All right, man. Let's move into the rock realm of things, starting with indie. We got Def Cab for Cutie's new song, Foxglove Through the Clearcut. Are you liking this new Def Cab?
I think that this is the best single they've put out. It's a little... I don't like the talking through the stuff, but... Like the vocals where it's just kind of spoken word doing shit. But instrumentally and sonically, this is my favorite single that they've put out so far for this album. It's been kind of slow, the music, I mean, tempo-wise. But this one is not so. We'll see. I'm kind of apprehensive for the album, but I'm going to listen to it because it's Def Cab. So I think Translaticism is a fucking classic in the indie world. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, man. I it's not a bad track. I definitely have to be in the right mood to enjoy this. This is definitely the more grandiose indie that makes me think of Arcade Fire. So I'm guessing you'll enjoy this album a little more than me. But I usually enjoy Death Cab's music.
We'll see.
We will see, buddy. All right. Next up, we got a new one from Klangstof called Truth. Love this. Can't wait for the album. Any notes on this?
Inject this shit into my veins, John. It's so good. This album's gonna be fucking insane, I think.
Yeah, this one is going to be absolutely insane. I'm trying to just save all my thoughts for when I hear it in full because I'm so excited for that one.
Yep.
All right, man. Next up, we got a new one from the Yeah Yeah Yeahs called Burning. Another great track and another album I'm really excited for, man. This one is kind of high concept, and I like it. It's very, very sleek, very, very cool. I enjoyed this one. How do you think?
It makes me so happy when you say the words "another new single from the Yeah Yeah Yeahs."
Seriously.
But yeah, man. I think the release date is 9/30. I think that's up on our release calendar on the website, and I can't wait, man. Based on the singles, it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, man. Can't wait for that.
They could surprise us, but I doubt they will.
Yeah, we will see. I think that's going to be a really good album.
Me too.
All right, man. Next up, we got Anti-Flag's new song, The Fight of Our Life, featuring Tim McIlrath of Rise Against and Brian Baker of Bad Religion. These new Anti-Flag songs have been good. I like these. What do you think?
Brian Baker is not only from Bad Religion, but he is also one of the founding members of Minor Threat, sir.
No way.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think he was the guitarist, one of the original guitarists. I think that this, based on how collaborative they've been with other punk musicians, I think that this album is going to be like a total big collab album, and goddamn am I here for that, man. That's going to be awesome. The singles have been good. It's not as aggressive as I like my Anti-Flag on any of the songs, but so far I've been enjoying them, you know?
Yeah, man. If it's all collaborations with punk legends, I'm definitely excited for it.
Right.
All right, man. Let's talk about Bayside. They released a new song here, Good Advice. This is our first time talking about them. I have not listened to them in a very long time. They still sound good. How much of a Bayside fan were you / are you?
So I never got like super into them, but I really like their music, and maybe it's actually time I revisit their back catalog because I saw that this song released and realized that I never clicked follow on Bayside's music because I never really seeked it out, you know? But anytime somebody would play Bayside, I would always find myself asking out loud, who is this? And every time somebody said Bayside, I'd be like, wow, I got to listen to them. And then I never did. But I really enjoy their music. So I threw the single on, and maybe that's going to, maybe we're going to go forward and maybe cover a new album from theirs. Were you a big Bayside fan?
No, man, we're the exact same. I was the exact same as you. I liked like Devotion and Desire and Duality and some of the hits, but I didn't know their catalog too well. So maybe I'll revisit it with you.
Yeah, we'll see, man. I really like this song. This is a good one.
It is. It is. We'll see what's next. Hopefully there is an album.
Alrighty.
All right. Next up, we got a new one from Sleeping with Sirens called Let You Down featuring Charlotte Sands, and another new song called Control-Alt-Delete. All of the singles for this album have been extremely up my alley. I'm excited to hear it when it drops October 14th. What are your thoughts on these?
I really liked both of these songs. One gripe. Control-Alt-Delete they start to get heavy and then they pull back.
That's because they are like the dictionary definition of screamo, not metalcore in any way.
I know, but like I kind of wish they leaned just like a little bit more into the heavy. But I really did like both of these songs, so I can't complain.
My man, as a longtime listener of Sleeping with Sirens, you're lucky it stayed that heavy as long as it did.
Okay, fair.
All right, man. These next songs are all in the metal realm, so I'll let you take the lead on them. First up, we got a new one from Bloodbath called Carve. Talk to me about this.
I just found Bloodbath. I'm not sure how popular they are. They're decently popular. 136,000 monthlies on the Spotify.
It's nice.
This is groovy as hell, man. It's super heavy, death thrash. I'm just for it. The guitar solo is fucking awesome. I just found Bloodbath, so I'm kind of exploring their catalog and found that they had released this single. So I was like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, man. Decent song. If I could scream the word carved the way this guy could, I would probably do it all the time.
Right? Like,
God, Thanksgiving would be so annoying.
Gotta love that album art too, man. It's really gross.
Oh yeah, that's proper. That's proper.
It's really gross. I love it.
Love it. Have fun with that, YouTube clan. All right. Next up, we got a new one from Chelsea Grin, Origin of Sin. I know they're massive. I've never been a giant fan of theirs. What are your thoughts of this?
So, kind of the same as you. I've never been like a huge fan of theirs, but I've always liked their work. I saw them, I think, back in like 2014, 2015. It was a good show. They opened for, I went and saw a doubleheader of Black Dahlia Murder and Suicide Silence, and Chelsea Grin was the opener. They kind of remind me a little bit of Winds of Plague a little bit. I'm sure you remember that band. Because they kind of get that scaling on the guitars, like they have that shit down. Yeah, I still think they sound good. They've gone through a couple of lineup changes, but I'm excited for a new album. They have announced it, and I have to say, Deicide. Have you ever listened to Deicide?
Yes.
Okay, Deicide, Glenn Benton, the vocalist, kind of does this whole layered vocals thing when they do studio recordings where he does the high vocals and the low vocals and then just layers them together, and it kind of creates this demonic sound. Chelsea Grin did that on this one, and I think they pulled it off, man. I think they really pulled it off, and I think it sounds really sinister and kind of does fit with the song name of Origin of Sin. So did you like this?
Yeah, man, I thought it was pretty good. It's definitely trying so hard to overwhelm the listener, but maybe it's all of the Winds of Plague that I've listened to have prepared me for moments like this, because it did not overwhelm me. Yeah, it's not ever going to be like exactly my thing, but I thought it was good for what it is.
Nice.
All right, man. Next up, we got a new one from Megadeth called Soldier On, and I am going to have to keep soldiering on through this release because at first I really enjoyed the novelty of them coming back, but I'm getting less and less interested in this the more I hear it.
So,
what are your thoughts?
Last year, At the Gates released a new album, and we covered the rollout, we covered the album, and really our only complaint of that album was, God, this guy sounds old. The vocalist just sounds like it's done. And I hate this track because Dave sounds really old here. His voice is a little rough, and it's not in the good way. The instrumentals, though, my God. Like, if you would isolate the vocals, I mean, just spot on, Megadeth.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do the Calvin Harris campaign for this. Can you just please release an instrumental version of this album?
Oh man, I think. Look, man, I think we have to. I think I want to cover the album because it's Megadeth. Number one, number two. I think it's kind of. I think it's going to kind of be interesting. We'll see if the mix is different from on the singles than the albums, and we'll see if Dave can muster up a little bit more of those vocal cord. You know.
Yeah. I'm excited to hear how it plays out regardless.
We'll see. I don't think it's going to be a banger. I don't think it's going to be a 10 out of 10 by any means, and it's going to be nothing like Rust in Peace, but I think they're legends for a reason, and I think we should give it a chance.
I will always trust you. All right. Man.
Famous last words.
Yeah, seriously. All right, next up we got a new one from Revocation called Recrucified, featuring Travis Strand of the Black Dahlia Murder and George Corpse Grinder Fisher of guess what band? Cannibal Corpse.
Cannibal fucking Corpse.
Man, we're getting a bunch of like super group shit collaborations in the rock world, aren't we?
Yeah, man.
Bunch of metal icons and punk icons all finally working together for the better good. What did you think of this track?
You know, hearing Trevor on the track made me a little nostalgic and a little bit sad, but I'm glad that these collabs are going to be starting to come out. I think he did a number of collaborations before he passed, so we'll see. And then obviously George Corpse Grinder Fisher can fucking get it. So And then the vocalist from Revocation, he fucking killed it on this too. He held his own alongside both of these two. I mean, let's be honest, legends, right? I mean, Trevor wasn't as prolific as George Fisher is, but I think that he's earned the title of legend because of all of the work that he did. And if anybody doubts me, go listen to Miasma and tell me I'm wrong. But yeah,
go listen to Miasma, motherfuckers.
Right. Yeah, this is great, man. I really liked this, and I'm excited for the Revocation album. And I'm kind of glad that I found them right before they started doing an album rollout. I listened to one of their previous records and even hit my boy up. The Outer Ones from 2018 is the album I listened to. And if you are curious, John, you should go do that too before the release of this to kind of get an idea of how their albums play out. But yeah, I even texted my boy that goes to the gym all the time. I was like, this is going to be your next gym soundtrack. And he has not stopped listening to it. So
fucking love that, man. Yeah, it's a good song. And I will definitely check that album out.
Do it.
All right, man. Next up, we got one from the Seagull Intervention and Max Hargreaves called The Inside. Don't think I've heard the Seagull Intervention before, but of all the metal singles we covered this week, this was the track I think I enjoyed the most.
I knew it.
Why is that?
Just because it's right up your alley, bro.
Yeah, no, totally up my alley. I liked it. I actually couldn't find them on Instagram when I was looking earlier.
You know,
so I will have to search differently, maybe.
They're a fresh band, dude. I think they only have 2 songs out, period. 98 monthly listeners on Spotify. I actually participated in a cool little thread on the metalcore subreddit, and these guys were like, listen to my music, and I was like, whoa. So I wanted to cover them because holy shit, man, this is good. Album art is great. The vocals are just fantastic. Like it's good, man. It's good. I really like this.
Yeah, man. You know, I'm a stickler for metal, and I couldn't agree more. I really enjoyed it.
Good.
All right,
glad you did.
Man. Next up, we got a new one from A War Inside called Black Swan. This is another one of your like 50,000 monthly listener throw-ons. I love these.
Yeah.
This is just a solid metal track, man. Nothing bad about it. Nothing outstanding about it. I like that you're always looking for the next generation, though.
You know, it's funny, man. I see a lot of people on the internet talking about how I just never want to be that same. I just never want to be the guy that always talks to the kids and is like, oh, listen to the Pink Floyd, you know, like I want to find the new music, man. And it's something that I really enjoy. And part of the reason why you and I do this fucking podcast, because we never really stopped looking for new music.
And we never will.
Never will. I don't think so, man. I think the intro to this track is heavy as fuck. It's a little rough around the edges, but that's kind of what metal is about. I was actually just talking to my wife about early Norma Jean and how, you know, they were all fucking teenagers, and it's like, yeah, man, teenagers make the best music. It's just kind of the way it is. It sounds great, man. The grooves are there, the breakdowns are there. What's not to like?
There's nothing not to like. It's a great song.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, man. Let's move on to the EPs. First up, we got a new one from Young the Giant. This is Act 2, Exile. I like Act 2 as much as I like Act 1. They're never going to be a band that like I'm a giant fan of, but I respect what they do, and this is a decent EP and collection of songs. What are your thoughts?
John, do you drink coffee in the mornings? Like, is that the first thing you do in the mornings?
Yeah, generally.
Cool. Sunday morning, what are you doing?
Sunday morning, what am I doing? Probably sleeping and then drinking coffee.
Well, when you wake up, find the best speakers in your house and throw on Young the Giant with your coffee, and you'll see why I like them.
Okay. Challenge accepted.
It's just the perfect, easy Sunday morning, ease back into the week, kind of vibey, kind of just easy indie rock, man. I dig it.
I'll give it a shot. What were your thoughts on these songs? Anything specific?
Nothing terribly specific, man. I just love it, man. Insomnia was really good. Tonight was great. The Walk Home was, I think, the weakest out of the 4. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Can you believe Beyonce's copying their rollout style? All right, man. Let's move on.
That reminds me of this one time, man. I went I went to a Taking Back Sunday show, and someone in front of me, and I don't even know why it came up, but they were like, "I can't believe Michael Jackson covered Alien Ant Farm. That's so crazy."
God damn it! I hate people. That's funny though. All right, man. We got the deluxe edition of Omar Apollo's Ivory. He's calling it Marfil. These 3 tracks round out what we haven't heard. They're not quite as substantial as the other deluxe edition tracks that we've heard from him, but they fit nicely if you play the deluxe from front to back. Have you done that yet?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I think these songs and the ones that we have already covered are fantastic additions to Ivory. I think this is a very polished deluxe edition. The high-pitched helium voice I could do without on Saving All of My Love, but it didn't bother me enough to actively dislike it.
I completely agree. I think that this is easily the best deluxe edition that I've heard all year.
Yeah, it's really good, man.
All right, man. You ready to move on to some albums?
Let's talk about some albums, bro.
Okay, first up, we got a new one from Megan Thee Stallion. This one is called Tramazine. It was kind of a surprise drop, announced, 4 or 5 hours before it came out?
Yep.
On the opening track, she asks, how many more ways can I say that I'm the baddest bitch? And a lot, apparently, man. Like, a lot. And after hearing this album, I'm excited to hear how many more ways she could say that she's the baddest bitch.
Probably a lot more.
Yeah, man, look, it was a surprise drop. We threw this on here because we thought it would be fun. Turns out it kind of was. She's an incredible rapper. Her bars hit. Her technique is sharp. She incorporates a little pop and R&B for some variety, but not too much to dilute the product. She's an incredible talent. This is a really good album. It's definitely my favorite album of hers to date. There's moments on this album that make a pretty strong case for her being one of the greatest female rappers of all time. And it's a little reductive to say that it reminds me of Lil' Kim and Biggie stuff from the 90s, because Meg is definitely her own thing by now. But it's definitely a throwback to the days of bars and delivery over vibe and aesthetic, and I really appreciate that. There's a few things I didn't love about the album. The Dua Lipa track feels like it's trying too hard to be a hit and feels out of place, even though it's tacked on to the end of the album.
Right.
I also think this whole thing could have been trimmed down to about 15 songs, 45 minutes. But for modern day standards, I guess we should be happy that this isn't 25 songs in over an hour and a half.
Looking at you, game.
Yeah, seriously. Oh, God. Ugh. Those are just some nitpicks, though, man. I enjoyed this album a lot more than I did, and I don't know what I went into this thinking, but I even added a few of these songs to my rotation, which I wasn't expecting to do. So I got this one at like a strong 6, light 7. I think my standouts were NDA. Gift and a Curse is a fucking banger, and Plan B still a great song. What are your thoughts on this one?
Alrighty, so I have avoided Megan Thee Stallion for a long time, and mainly because I don't really like the subject matter that she raps about. But that's kind of one of the reasons why I told you we should definitely fucking cover it when you sent me the press release for the album.
Yeah. And
so I can't say I like most of the subject matter. However, I can say with a lot of confidence that Megan can fucking rap, bro.
Yes.
She's definitely here to stay. There are some flows on here reminiscent of some fucking goats, dude. I remember when she was slated to play Coachella, and I had asked a coworker who was going, who he was most excited to see, and he was like, "Oh, for sure, Megan Thee Stallion." And I was like, "Really, bro?" I was like kind of blown away, but honestly, dude, I kind of get it now. She has a lot of real talent. I've never really been a fan of the over sexualized music in really any genre. So the lyrical content on this record isn't for me on this project. Yeah, but I really can't stop listening to how fucking great the flows are. I think she had a perfect blend of tracks with features and solos. Like a lot of people, they're either going to like stack it with the features or not at all. And I think she had a great blend of that.
Good point.
I think she chose her features carefully, even though I'm not a big fan of some of them. Imagine for a second making a stage gangster rap name and choosing Pooh. Overall, I think it's a solid album, man. I think she's got some insane flows, dude. She's got like an Eminem flow at one point, and I was thinking to myself, like, if Eminem did this verse, everybody would fucking lose their mind, like he's back again. I think the production is pretty good, and I enjoyed it on the songs that had lyrical content that I liked. I gave it a 6 for the music. Personal preference, because if you conglomerate it all, I think it's a 4 for me. But if I take my dislike of the lyrical content out, it's a solid 6, and I think Gift and a Curse is my standout.
Hey man, that's all fair. Would you say her, Cardi, and Nicki are the 3 best right now?
Honestly, I was thinking about it, and I was actually talking to my wife about it. I think she might be better than Nicki, bro.
Yeah. No, I'm just where you would rank those 3 entirely depends on preference. But I would say those 3 have kind of separated themselves from the pack.
For sure. Yeah, they're all 3 of them are clearly good at what they do. I like one of them a lot less than the other 2, but they're clearly what they do.
Yes, I agree, man. All right. Let's move on to this Danger Mouse and Black Thought album, Cheat Codes. Are you loving this one? This is your first Black Thought experience.
All right, I'm going to jump right in. Black Thought is the best rapper alive. Now, I know that as a 30-year-old white dude, I really have no place in this conversation, but there's no fucking contest, bro. There's just no contest. He took the art form and perfected it. He's not my favorite rapper of all time, but he is very clearly the best.
Yep.
I really like that. Just a couple of notes here. I really like that Danger Mouse gave Run the Jewels an LP style beat. I don't know if you caught that, but he kind of mixed his old school into the LP style beat. I think ASAP did really well on his verse on Strangers also. I've heard both Russ and Joey do better than their verses on the song Because. Conway's verse on Saltwater is fucking great.
Yes.
Overall, this album just fucking bangs, dude. Black Thought has proven that he's not only a part of the overall conversation when it comes to greatest of all times, but probably at the top there. And this record kind of feels like an instant classic due to the old school flows, intelligent lyrics, and production that just feels like it was played on analog equipment, which I really appreciated. I'm a really big fan of this, and I will absolutely be revisiting this throughout the year. My standout, would you care to guess?
Give me 1 second. You're not an intro. Oh man, I'm gonna say Belize.
Close. That was actually my runner-up to my standout. My standout is Violas and Lupitas. What a fucking closer, dude.
I should have guessed it would be a closer.
Yep.
I was like opposite of the opener. I know Brandon's not an opener guy.
Oh man, I gave it a 9. It's a solid right smack dab in the middle of a 9.
Hey man, fair. I love that you loved it so much, and I enjoyed it quite a bit as well, man. The first words out of Black Thought's mouth are Prisoners of Azkaban. That is fucking incredible, man. This whole album is pretty incredible. You really said it all, man. The beats are great, the bars are great, the features are good. It's Black Thought flowing over chopped up soul and jazzy beats. Like, I fucking love it. It's everything I wanted it to be, and then some. Yeah, it's in that 8 to 9 range. I think the darkest part, Belize and Aquamarine, are my easy standouts. I really like this. I will also be revisiting this one throughout the year for sure.
Yeah, this is a grower and a shower, I think.
Hey, wish we all could be, right? All right.
As a 30-year-old white dude, I'm just kidding.
I'm going to start doing Activia commercials pretty soon with Jamie Lee Curtis. All right, man. Let's talk about this Kasabian album, The Alchemist Euphoria, because I still really don't know how I'm feeling about it. How are you feeling about this?
Oh man, this was the album that stumped me this week, man.
Me too.
So this is a weird release for Kasabian. Well, I'm sorry, it's a weird release for any musician.
Yes.
It's all over the place stylistically. Sometimes even like within the same song, which isn't really a bad thing in my opinion, though, because They seem to pull it off pretty well. All of the songs make sense to me on this album, except for Rocket Fuel, man. This is like a fever dream Boys Noise had if he ended up joining a British band instead of doing his own thing. It's super weird. It's not bad on its own. Like, I've gone back and just listened to Rocket Fuel, and that was it for the Kasabian listens for the day. But this is weird, man. Other than Rocket Fuel, I do think the album is good. There's good lyrics. There's good instrumentals. It's different enough to keep me engaged, and yet not so disconnected from the world that it could be considered avant-garde. I enjoyed this. I listened to it 4 times. I probably won't be revisiting it very often. I gave it a 6. My standout was Scripture.
Hey, that's fair, man. You could be right. I found it to be just a bit disappointing. I think that's how I felt when I was done listening to it. And I was excited for it. There's some songs on it that I enjoy, but the album has no fucking flow to it. Scripture and Alligator are my favorites, but those were the first singles that we covered during the release. So I've been into those for a while. It's not like those renewed anything for me. Of the album cuts, I thought Stargazer was probably my favorite, but even that song felt good. But even it felt out of place on this album. But this whole album feels out of place.
I think that's kind of the point.
Yeah,
I think that's the point they were going for, but I think it's a good old swing and a miss.
It missed me, man. This is like a 4 or a 5 for me. I don't think I'll be revisiting it either. We'll see though.
I think my 6 is taking out Rocket Fuel because that really does throw the entire trajectory of the album off.
It's a weird inclusion. Inclusion.
Before you write it off as a whole, do me a favor and just listen to the album without that song, and I think you'll feel like it's a 6 because that song, when you're listening to this album front to back, fucks me up.
Okay, maybe if I give it one more go, I will definitely skip Rocket Fuel.
Just skip Rocket Fuel. Again, it's a fine song on its own, but it's so fucking weird on this album. So I don't know what they were thinking, but they thought something.
And I should also say, I'm not done with Kasabian. I just didn't enjoy this album.
Oh, super fair, man.
All right, man. Let's talk about some Norma Jean, or shall I say the almighty Norma Jean. Their new album, Death Rattle, Sing For Me, is finally released, and it lived up to the hype. I think that is safe to say. Again, another album that turned out to be everything I expected it to be from the singles, and you were right, man. This might be their heaviest album to date.
I think I was right, bro.
Yeah, I think you were right by the end of 1994 because I was like, oh god. It's an incredibly powerful intro, just a masterclass in aggression. This album gets a little more melodic after that, but not by much. Spearmint Revolt, still one of the greatest metal songs from the past decade, or if not of all time. I don't fucking know. The only thing that might top that for me is the intro to this album, honestly. We talk about a lot of metal on this show, and our tastes rarely overlap in that department. But I feel like Norma Jean is the perfect cross-section of our tastes in metal.
The great
and I'm
uniters.
glad we got an album like this to enjoy together because it's fucking awesome. Like, I don't like saying that I don't like a lot of metal songs. I want to like them, but my taste in metal is so oddly specific that it's hard to figure out. And this is just one of the few metal albums where I can turn off my critical brain and my old man brain and just enjoy it for what it is. 94 and Spearmint Revolt, obvious standouts for me, but some of the album cuts were really good too. Any Percentage, Wave, Sleep Explosion was a solid third single. Heartache, epic finale that the album deserves. Overall, I thought this album was great and definitely in the conversation for best metal album we've heard this year. I got it at probably a solid 8 for me. What do you think about it, buddy?
All right. That's a great review, John.
Thank you.
All right. So as you know, I was pretty fucking stoked for this album.
Yes.
The singles were great, and I was excited to hear it all in context of the full project. By God, I was not disappointed. There are a number of things that I love about this album, and there are not many things that I don't just fucking love about this album. This sounds raw as hell, which is definitely something that Norma Jean is known for and does very well. I'm glad that they haven't cleaned anything up here. Some bands will go for a more overproduced sound, and I think they didn't clean anything up. This album does seem a bit more atmospheric, a little bit more ethereal than usual, and so I did a little bit of digging without having to read an album review because I was currently writing mine, and I really don't like to be around conversations about an album until I've actually written my own thoughts down. So I actually read an interview with the vocalist that was on the lead up to this album, and he said that some of the songs have over 200 stem layers on them. Which goes to show that overproducing your music doesn't have to sound perfect, and that sometimes when you do it, it can sound raw as hell. The lyrics are fucking awesome, and I have a few excerpts because, oh my God.
Please.
It takes a lowercase of faith, it takes knees on the ground, it takes heads looking down at anyone but yourself. That was Aria Obscura, the song. Fucking whoa, man. Quote, eyes closed don't make anything disappear on the song Penny Margs. Which, sidebar, where the fuck in the world are they selling Penny Margs at? Because I want one.
Probably the Hood.
It'll be probably the Hood. Shout out to the Hood. I saw the Dead Kennedys there. It was a good show. Which is where you would expect to get a Penny Marg at.
Yes.
The breakdown in Sleep Explosion sounds like the entire album was building up to it. Even though there were a number of breakdowns before that, it just sounds like the whole album was just pushing, and then just a fucking energy release. As you know, I like album closers, and Heartache is a fucking closer, man. It seems like the perfect conclusion for such an insane album. It's 8 minutes of noise and screams and cleans and just pummeling instrumentals. I absolutely loved it. I will definitely be revisiting throughout the year and throughout the years. I gave it a 9. My standout was, I couldn't decide. It was either Aria Obscura or A Killing Word. But as you said, Spearmint Revolt may be one of the best metal songs of the decade, for sure.
Fuck yeah, man. I'm glad we got to enjoy a metal album together.
Me too. It's been a long time, man.
It has. It has.
At least on the same level, you know? And I think one thing that speaks to you is how fucking raw Norma Jean is. And I was, like I said, I was talking to my wife about it earlier and bringing up, like, you know, Bless the Martyr and how they were making music for teenagers at the time that it was way too complicated for teenagers to understand or really even care about understanding. But like when it still brings up those same feelings. I just didn't know what they were back then, and now we can articulate them and kind of put them into our emotional words. And God, man, just their entire catalog, even though it's a completely different vocalist and kind of a completely different band lineup wise, but my God, man, they just keep doing it, bro.
They do, man. Phenomenal album. I'm sure it will be in our end of the year discussion for sure.
I think it will be.
All right, man. Well, let's close out this week by talking about this new CLIFFDIVER album, Exercise Your Demons. I'm sure you were excited to show me this band, were you not?
I've been holding on to this one for a while, man. I got the record delivered to my house, and I just needed to throw it on the playlist. I know this was kind of a little bit of a stacked week, but I was like, fuck it, we need to talk about it. So let's go.
We do, man. And I'm happy you added this because I really enjoyed it. This band is a lot of fun. This album's really good. They're clever and referential. They're a little bit sardonic. It's a good combination of things for a band like this. 7 members is a lot of people, but they make it work. And I added this to my rotation, hit the follow button. So thank you for showing me another awesome band, man.
Give me your rating.
I gave this one, it's got like a high 6, low 7. Frankie Muniz, Don't Smoke Mids is my favorite. Easy. New Vegas Bomb is a slap too.
Oh, New Vegas Bomb is great. And I think those were my 2 standouts also. And God, that's got to be the best song title of the year, right?
Super Saiyan El Pacino is actually my favorite song title. It's just not my favorite song. Frankie Muniz is second though. Yeah, no, they got it. They figured out how to name songs.
They did it. I have to say also the album cover, if you haven't like looked at it, is
I have
pristine. Yeah. I gave it a 7. Yeah, I've been holding on to this one for a while. I just it's pop punk, man. And it's got, in my opinion, really a perfect blend of pop and punk, and with a little dash of ska in there. I imagine the Salt Bay dude just kind of sprinkling some fucking trumpet on there, and we're good. We're off to the races, you know.
Don't eat salt off people's forearms, people. Please don't do that. It's not.
The people that go and pay that man $700 for a steak don't give a fuck about that guy's forearms. They're there for
the SNL sketch of so good. So good. You want to know what we're going to be talking about next week, buddy?
I so do.
Oh boy. Well, we got a new one from Panic at the Disco coming out called Viva Las Vengeance. We got a new album from I Prevail. We got part 2 of Profound Mysteries from Royksop, a new one from Silverson Pickups called Physical Thrills, and we missed the Hudson Mohawk album this week, so we will be covering that next week. Sorry if you were looking forward to that, anyone listening, but we will definitely be covering that one next week, as well as a whole bunch of other stuff. I think Zed's dropping a new song this week. That's been a while. Should be a fun one. Again, please like, follow, subscribe. It really helps us out. We appreciate all of you. Brandon, you want to say bye?
Later, guys. Thanks for listening.
Peace.
Peace.